Damon Lowry of Strike.
Thanks, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly nice to be here, and it certainly feels like we're on the cusp of something very special in the graphite industry. Just a little bit of preamble before I get into the presentation. The group around Strike Graphite has had some experience in niche industries before graphite came on stream of recent. Together with Zim2, we've had a couple of successful projects in both potash and in the rare earth space, where we've raised about or close to $40 million, had our potash project acquired by a tier 2 issuer on the TSX Venture Exchange, and our rare earth company boasts the second richest niobium deposit on the planet today. But that notwithstanding, certainly we've never seen the type of movement or excitement or opportunity that we've seen in the graphite space that we're seeing today. A couple of key core value drivers for Strike Graphite up in front of you. Location, certainly wanted to be in jurisdictions that were mining friendly and potentially close to already existing mines and infrastructure. We wanted to look for and have and acquire advanced projects. We weren't looking for anything that was green fields. Certainly large flake seems to be a buzzword today. As you've heard by my colleagues, 40% of the graphite production is large flake, and that's utilized in most of the applications for emerging technologies. High grade, that certainly goes without explanation. Liquidity, very important for our retail friends, brokers, and institutions in the stock, and the ability to fast track. At Strike Graphite, we're of the volition that the companies that are first or next to resource are going to enjoy the highest valuations, and they're going to have some other reciprocal opportunities as well as a result. My colleagues have done a good job explaining the graphite as a critical metal. I won't beat that to death. Obviously, we understand that there is a supply and demand glut. At present time, the production is around 1 million tons, and some people are predicting it would need to increase by a factor of 6 by 2020. But even if we were very conservative and it needed to double, you would be looking at 25 new mines needing to come on stream by 2020 at a production rate of about 40,000 tons per annum, and that's the largest production by a producer at the present time. To touch on location very briefly, I'm not aware of any finer jurisdiction to do business in the mining business than Saskatchewan. Certainly for exploration, permitting, and permitting of a mine, it's excellent. Locally, next to our Deep Bay project, you can see that we're about 4 kilometers away from a historic mine, so certainly there's infrastructure present as well. On the Quebec side of things, our Wagon project, it's not far behind, is the 4th best jurisdiction to do business. Certainly you receive a substantial rebate for your exploration dollars, and of course we have the benefit of being very close to the largest producing graphite mine in the country, which is the Timcal mine. And with that obviously comes infrastructure, roads, closeology, and some geological benefits as well. You may have seen a news release that we announced this morning. Certainly the stock seemed to fare well, as did most graphite stocks, traded about 1.3 million shares today. This Simon Lake project could be the company maker. It does have the potential for about 30 million tons. You can see that the grades are off the charts, obviously up to 70% at some stretches. Again, this sort of follows our mantra. The project is advanced, it's high grade, it's large flake. There's a significant conductor there that overlays our historic drill holes. A little bit about drilling and the procedure. Grain, grade, metallurgy, and location. Certainly what we're going to do is twin some of these holes, these historic holes, and fortunately or hopefully have some results like we've had from the historic holes, and then ship that core off for assay and then to the Met Lab. The Met Lab is going to tell us which conductors are the most prospective and where we need to be building our resource. Certainly we want to be in the area and building resource where we've got that battery grade graphite. Our next project just down the road is of course Deep Bay East. It was the first project that we did announce. Again, it's large flake. It's got some great historic drill holes. It's got an average grade of about 8%. You can see there's a nice interval there of 35 meters of 8.58%, which is an excellent grade. We've got 1.6 kilometers of strike, so the drill holes and trenching are all along that strike. And of course it's also got metallurgy. Superior Graphite had done some metallurgical testing back in 1974, which gives us an indication that as we take this material at Deep Bay East through processing, that we'll end up with battery grade graphite in the 95 to 97% percentile. The best way that we've seen to find a mine is, or to discover a deposit, is to find a deposit that's already been drilled. And that's certainly the case for Deep Bay East and Simon Lake. Our Wagon project offers our investors a little bit of a hedge against our Saskatchewan plays. Of course, it's got a bit of a notoriety, being that it's about 12 kilometers from the Timcal mine. And as I mentioned in the first slide, with mines of Timcal's size comes infrastructure. So there's roads, there's power. Certainly this boasts all of the qualities of the other two projects. It does have grade. There are no drill holes, but there are samples in 100 outcrops of anywhere between 3 and 18%. So it's another project that we're looking forward to pursuing aggressively in the mining-friendly province of Quebec. Ability to fast track. The mandate of the company is as mentioned in slide 1. The companies that are first to resource are going to enjoy the highest valuations, and there's going to be some subsequent opportunities with that. Certainly, you've got the potential for offtake partners. You've got the potential for financing to make sure that the projects get through development, and there may be joint venture opportunities as well. In our experience in potash, it could cost sometimes $800,000 to drill a hole in potash. In the rare earth business, you may have some complicated metallurgy. As far as a CapEx standpoint, we think we can be extremely aggressive. On one of our projects from phase 1 to phase 3, we believe that we can come up with an inferred resource on one of our projects somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 million tons for about $5 million. So the company is looking to be extremely aggressive. The final slide is the stock chart. It would have been nice to have the chart in today, as there was massive volume, as there were in the rest of the deals. But essentially, as far as time to strike, you're looking at a company that's third in the graphite wave, maybe after Focus Metals. And if we pan back to rare earth or potash, you've got companies like Avalon that ran to $9. Rare earth elements that had a nice run to $20, and certainly you're not going to stand up here and wave a flag and saying that we're going to run $9 or $20. But what we are saying is that there is an incredible opportunity for companies like Strike Graphite and the companies in this room to have an incredible run. And I suppose that a week, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, or to a year, most of the people in this room are going to be one of two things: glad they did, or wishing they had of, and hopefully we've inspired enough people today to ensure that most people are glad they did. Thanks very much.